Hello, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Adrielle, and I'm currently narrating a story of my life dating back from January 2016. In the previous episode, I talked about the month of June 2020 of how I was stressing out, right? I was stressing out about payments, stressing out because Ruth told me I had to leave her apartment. and just figuring out what was happening in my life. So in the month of July, I'm going to talk about other things that happened in my life. So here goes. July 1st, y'all, it was the due date of my payment. And my mom gave me the money, which I was super thankful and grateful. So I was able to pay for that. Thank God. July 6th. July 6th is Ruby's birthday. So I remember giving her a call and say, "Hey, happy birthday, friend." Um, she told me that they were doing something at her parents' house, and if I wanted to come. Now I couldn't go. I think I told her I could, but I realized that y'all, my car insurance had expired on the 3rd. So I couldn't go. Couldn't go. And plus it was really like raining cats and dogs where I was staying. So I was like, yo, I can't go, but hey, I do want to celebrate with you because I didn't celebrate with her in 2019. That's a story time for another episode. I didn't celebrate her birthday with her in 2019. So I wanted to do something. I said, hey, let's meet at a restaurant, you know. It's on me, even though I didn't have any money. It was on me. I said, let's meet at a restaurant. And yeah, so she was down. She was down for that. So I decided that I was going to take Ruby out to eat on July 9th, right? I didn't have any money. I reached out to my oldest brother. I said, yo, could you give me $60? Could you give me $60? Right? So he gave it to me. I said, I'm going to use this money to pay for me and Ruby's meal, right? The restaurant I chose was a restaurant that was close by to Hidden Valley. I've been there before. I really liked their food. Um, I really liked their food. So I was there before. I said, you know what? If I am planning to have this dinner with Ruby at this restaurant that's close to Hidden Valley, why don't I just go on another tour of Hidden Valley? Even though I went on one back in 2019, I'm like, it wouldn't hurt to go for another one. So I think, what did I say? I think I said that we should meet at 6 o'clock for dinner. I think so. Yeah, I think I said 6. So around 3:30 or 4, that was when I left. I left Ruth's apartment to go to Hidden Valley to go for this tour. So I go to the apartment, get into the leasing office, tell them that I am interested in an apartment, yada, yada, yada. So they go over the fees with me. The application fee was like $85, deposit fee, all these fees. Y'all, I did not even have money to apply to Hidden Valley. So I became overwhelmed. I became really overwhelmed because I didn't have nothing. At this time, I was promised money, like $100 or so. So I told myself that, hey, if I get that money, I'm gonna use it to put in my application for an apartment. So there was one particular apartment I had my eyes on because of the size. It was one of the bigger one-bedroom apartments. So I went there, I saw it. I was like, it's nice, but I don't know. I don't know. So I went through the whole entire tour. They gave me this quote that, hey, if I'm moving by the 24th, because I think they asked me when did I want to move in. I was like, oh, the 24th. I just said whatever. I said, yeah, the 24th. So they put in a quote for me. I think the rent was like 1,200 and some change. So they placed the quote in a folder and, just different papers about the apartment, and then I got into my car. By the time I got into my car, it was like 4:45. Yeah, to 5. To 5. I remember getting a text from Ruby asking if we could push the dinner to 6:30. And I was like, that's fine. So I remember staying in my car for like 15 minutes. Then probably by the time it was like 5:10-ish, 5:20, I decided to drive to the restaurant, which was like 3 minutes away. I drive to the restaurant, I'm in my car, and I remember looking at the brochure, and this is what I said to God. I said, God, please let me move in by the end of the month, right? Let me move in by the end of the month, latest before my birthday. Because I remember telling God that I did not want to celebrate my birthday at Ruth's apartment. I wanted to celebrate my birthday in my own place. So I was like, God, I want to move in by the end of the month, at least before my birthday. Before my birthday, I want to move in before my birthday. I was just decreeing, declaring, just asking God in my car. So time had went by, and Ruby shows up, right? Ruby shows up, get out the car. I did ask Ruby to help me print out my insurance because I didn't have it with me. So she printed out my insurance and she gave it to me, and I said thank you. And then we just walked into the restaurant. We got walked into the restaurant. I was like, "Hey, order what you want. It's on me." And I think we ordered, and we're just talking. We're just talking, and she asked me about the job search, and I said, I haven't secured a job. It's just been hard. And I told her, I was like, hey, I'm also moving out of Ruth's apartment too. She was like, where are you moving to? I was like, I don't know. I just think it's time for me to move. Now, I didn't tell her that Ruth wanted me to bounce, but I was like, it's time for me to leave. I've been there since February. I need to get my own spot. But she was like, you don't have a job yet. I said, I know, but I need to get my own place. So she was like, well, have you looked into renting a room? I was like, no, I want my own apartment. But she was like, but you don't have a job. Like, where are you going to get the money to, rent an apartment? I was like, I'll figure it out. But yeah, I was not renting a room. No. So she says to me, she's like, hey, aren't you not getting the $600 every week? I said, no, like, I don't qualify for that. I didn't make that much money last year. She was like, no. She was like, no. I said, well, from what I saw, you had to had made a certain amount of money, and you had to have been employed for 18 months. Yes. You had to have been employed for the last 18 months. That was really what it was, the last 18 months, right? And I told her, I'm like, yo, that internship was not 18 months, right? So she was like, no, you can qualify. Such and such, which was her best friend in the program, she was like, she had an internship and she processed her unemployment and she's getting $600 every week. I was like, what? She was like, yeah. She was like, yo, look into it. Now, something I forgot to mention, y'all. Before I left Ruth's apartment, I had the mindset that I'm going to Hidden Valley. I asked God for favor. God, let me find favor today. Let me find favor when I go into Hidden Valley. Let me find favor. Let me find favor. I just kept on saying it. I was like, I'm hoping that someone at the leasing office is going to, just favor me. Immediately, Ruby told me about that. I knew that was the favor that I prayed for. So I told her, I said, you know what? I am going to look into it and apply. She was like, yeah, apply. She was like, such and such, they even work 18 months and she's getting it every week. And I was like, wow, 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 wow. I was like, okay. In my mind, I was super excited. Ruby didn't know. Ruby really didn't know the extent of the things I was going through. We were still having conversations that night at dinner, but she didn't know how excited I was in my mind. So yeah, so we ended the dinner probably like after 9. I got back and I said, you know what? I'm going to do a little research about it and then apply the next day, which was the 10th. The next day came, the 10th. I didn't fill out the application. I don't know why I didn't do it. But what I did do was I spoke to my older brother. I have two. I spoke to my older brother and I told him about it. And he was like, yeah, just apply, see what happens, see what comes out of it. And that was that. The next day, which was the 11th, my brother sends me, my older brother, he sends me a text and say, have you applied? I'm like, oh, no, not yet. What are you waiting for? I'm like, chill, man. Okay, now that you're on me about it, I'm gonna apply. And to be honest, I don't even know what I was waiting for. I think low key, there was a part of me thinking that I wasn't gonna get approved, right? So when my brother sent me that text and was like really gingering me up to fill out the application, I said, you know what, I'm gonna just do it. So I filled out that application that morning. So apparently, y'all, um, people who were unemployed for 18 months, they qualify for that $600, right? I already knew that. But people who were gig workers, independent contractors, what was the other one? There was another one. All of those people, they qualified for the $600 under the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program, which was called the PUA. So apparently, I was an independent contractor when I was an intern at the campaign job, right? So because of that, I qualified for the $600. So I filled out the form. I got a predetermined eligibility email, and it was $149, right? So I'm like, okay, what that mean? So I took a picture, I sent it to Ruby, and I was like, this is what they sent to me. I don't know. So she was like, oh no, you got approved. So on top of the 600, you're gonna get 149 every week. It's like, what? Oh. Now they did ask for more information for me to send in. They asked for more information for me to send in. I eventually sent that in. I think probably 3 days later, July 14th. Yes, so July 14th, I sent in whatever other things they wanted me to send in via email. July 15th, I was approved. I can get my own apartment. Yeah. Now, the funny thing about this, y'all, was as I was going through the PUA process, y'all, Ruth was not even on me about jobs or about me leaving, So I just thought that everything just happened for its own reason, right? So July 15th, I got approved and I was super excited. July 18th was the first day I could claim weekly payments. And thank God, y'all. Thank God I was allowed to claim weekly payments all the way back from April 4th when the program first started. So I was just sitting on the couch, just making, the weekly claims, April 4th, April 11th, April 18th. I was just making the weekly claims, making all those claims. I did all of that up until that time, which was July 18th. July 23rd, y'all, I woke up to a direct deposit into my account and it was for 9,875 dollars. I was like, oh, yes. I was super excited, y'all. I said, oh my goodness, not only do I have money to fill out a apartment application, I have money to pay for the fees and my first month's um rent. Like I can move. I can move. So that day I go to Hidden Valley. I said, you know what? Hey you guys, I want to move into one of your units on July 31st. So they told me, okay, fill out the application online, have a co-signer, yada yada yada. And yeah, I get back from I get back from Hidden Valley. I have this conversation with my mom. My mom says, "Hey, have you told Ruth?" I said, "No, I don't want to tell her until I have something solidified, right?" She said, "No, you need to tell her." She's like, "That's not right because you need to let her in on the process." And to be honest, I wasn't even thinking that way. In my mind, I didn't want to tell Ruth anything beforehand because what if I didn't get approved? And she really wanted me to leave, y'all. Now, mind you, me and Ruth, we really did not have any beef at all. But she just really wanted her space. I think for me, I just didn't like her tone. And at the same time, too, I wanted my own space too. So I wasn't really thinking about telling her until everything was concrete. But my mom was like, no, just let her in on the process and everything. So I told her, and she was like, "Oh, that's so good for you. I'm happy for you, Adriel." And yeah, we just had that discussion, and everything was good. July 24, I said, "You know what? Let me start packing my stuff out of Ruth's apartment." Right? The thought came into my head: start packing your things. So I am in her bedroom, looking at my things, and I was like, "No, let me not pack my stuff. Let me wait until the 31st." But I remember feeling this nudge. Not really a nudge, but there was this like constant repetition going on inside of me to pack my stuff in my car right now, right? I ignored it. I said no. I'm gonna wait till the 31st, right? The 25th, July 25th, I applied. My father was my co-signer. So he filled out his own application too as well. And I'm like, yo, I'm good. 31st, I'm out of here. July 27, I'm heading to go and get oil change and get my car service. Brandon puts out a tweet, and I'm gonna read the tweet. This is what Brandon tweeted. He tweeted, "This time dot 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 next year dot watch." Now, I'm going to stop the episode right here because I do need to talk about Brandon in the month of July. So, if you guys are liking the Likely Story, please comment, subscribe, share, and I'll see you in my next video.